What is going down, guys? So I am in the super secret Neutron lair right now, messing with some PCs, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to show you guys how to improve the looks of your PC. So if you guys checked out my video like a couple videos ago, I showed you guys how I built my systems, and you know, I think they look pretty decent. So I just want to show you guys basically what I would do if I was putting together a PC, and just some ways that you can improve the looks of your PC overall. So let's take a look at some of this stuff. Now, one of the easiest ways to improve the looks of your PC is with RGB lighting. Now, obviously this isn't for everyone, but I would kind of say take this with a less is more approach. So don't just go like make a light show in your system, but if you have kind of like subtle lighting, I think it actually looks pretty good. So we've got these RGB fans from Gamdius that they sent out to us. They're 420mm fans that they can actually sync directly to your motherboard. So if you're using like Asus or MSI, or Gigabyte motherboards, it should be able to sync with that and give you some uniform lighting. So we got these. So here's one of the fans, by the way. You can see it's got kind of these clear RGB rings around it. Black fan there in the middle with some little rubberized pads there. This does connect directly to a hub and not to your motherboard, so just keep that in mind. There is one in the box as well. And apparently you can use a remote control to control the lighting on these. I also got this RGB strip from Reven. If you guys remember a while back, I actually did a review on some of their CPU coolers back in the day. So they sent out these magnetic RGB strips, so we can install these. You can either do one or the other, or even both. Here's the RGB strip, it's magnetic. This is also compatible with Asus's AuraSync, I think is what it's called. So this can actually connect directly to your motherboard if you wanted it to. But I believe we can actually run this through the hub that comes with the fans so that they're all synced together. But yeah, this is just magnetic, so bam, it'll just pop right on the case there if we wanted to. So this is the system that we're working with, by the way. I actually reviewed this case in my last video, so if you guys didn't see that video, make sure you guys go check it out. I'll put a link to it down in the description, but this is kind of what we're working with. So this is actually an old system of mine that I used to run as my main gaming rig. It has since been replaced, but I still kind of throw it in some cases every now and then just to revive it. Right now it's actually running Ubuntu on it because I was going to do some possibly some Linux gaming testing, but we'll see about that. So it's basically just a more of like a red and black theme sort of thing going on, except with the yellow there, which we'll get to later on. It's got tempered glass in the front here, if you guys can see. Maybe kind of hard to see with the reflections. We are going to have shining lights through here, so you'll be able to see that. And then there's tempered glass on the side as well. So nothing too crazy case-wise. There is a little bit, there is an acrylic piece right here that is kind of shiny that covers up the PSU basement down here. So we've kind of got that to work with. So there's a couple things that we can maybe do to make this look just a little bit cleaner. All right, so I got all three fans installed, actually four, but three up front here, as you guys can see. Don't mind that front panel. It's got the stupid wires connected, so it's kind of a pain to move out of the way, but we've got all three right there installed. There's also one in the back here at the rear, so you guys can see for the exhaust right there. So all four of them are in. We've also got it connected to this hub. So this hub is where all the fans connect to right here. You've got, I think, 6 or 8 total slots. Actually, I think you can do. No, 6 total fans that you can do, plus 2 LED ports. For some reason, the ports that it has here don't actually work. You won't be able to see that, it's too dark. But they don't actually work with the LED strips that we have. So unfortunately, we won't be able to use those because those have to be plugged directly into the motherboard and I don't have a 12 volt RGB slot. So you do have the option of connecting it to a motherboard that has an addressable RGB port, so the 5 volt one. I forgot to mention that in the first place. These fans are addressable RGB. The LED strips that we had are just a standard 12 volt RGB strip. So I'm not sure if that's why it doesn't actually work on this little hub right here, but at any rate, we've at least got some lighting installed, so we will go on to some other ways to improve the looks of the system. Now, another way to improve the looks of your PC is pretty simple, and it doesn't cost you anything at all, and that is cable management. Now, it doesn't need to be perfect, and I'm gonna spare you any crap about airflow. One of the reasons to do cable management, I think, is simply having pride in what you just put together. Now, chances are this system probably cost you hundreds, if not thousands, to put together, so you might as well make it look nice. Now, my system here, as you can see, it's not perfect in terms of cable management. Obviously, there is some improvement, but you can see I do have everything pretty organized here. You can see the cables coming from the backside, all tied down at some point. They're all routed in a specific direction. Could use a little improvement down here, but no one can see that, so it's whatever. And usually what I try to do is just make sure that you can't see the majority of the cables from the front side of the case. So the less cables you can see, the better. Now, unfortunately, this case doesn't have rubber grommets. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to see some of these that are routed through the back side. But you can see I pretty much have minimal cables showing through right here. So we've got just enough showing in the system for it to reach to the connector. Everything else is hidden back behind the motherboard tray. Same with the USB connector there. Same with the PCIe connector here for the graphics card. And then the front panel connectors down here as well. So you want to show as minimum amount of cable as possible. Don't just take your cables from your power supply down here and just drag it straight up to your 8-pin connector over here. You want to route it through the back and route it through here, keep it as clean as possible. And that is probably one of the best things that you can do to improve the looks of your system, is simply manage your cables. It doesn't cost you anything but time, and it'll look a lot better. Oh, and it helps to have somewhat of a basement down here at the bottom. This one even has a little cover to hide that power supply altogether along with the cables, so that helps as well. Now, tying into cable management, one other way to make your system look a little bit better is through cable extensions. So you can buy these extension pieces that attach to the factory power supply cables and kind of give your system a different look. So you'll basically have these displaying in the main area of the case, and then you'll route the old cables back behind your motherboard tray and kind of hide them out of the way. That way only the nice part is actually showing through. And this can be used to either give your system a specific color scheme that you're going for, or you can just use it to make your system a little bit cleaner if you are using a power supply that maybe has like ketchup and mustard cables or something that's just not very visually appealing. So we've got two different sets of cable extensions here. The one on the left is from BitPhoenix. These are just all black. And then the ones on the right are from Thermaltake, and it's this kind of lime green and black color scheme going on with. So I do recommend using cable extensions if you want to improve the looks of your case. Really, the only downside is that it's going to make your overall cables look a little bit, or they're going to be a little bit longer. So cable management is going to take a little bit more of an effort, but they can definitely make your system look a lot cooler. And then the last thing really to tie this all in together and make your system look really nice is obviously just to buy parts that fit a certain color scheme. So for example, here you can see I've kind of got a red and black theme going on. You've got obviously the black fan there, red RAM, you've got red heatsink pieces from the motherboard. There's even a red heatsink down there that you can see for the chipset that's just barely peeking through from the other side of the graphics card. You kind of want to just buy parts that have a specific look to it in the first place. That'll be the easiest way to match up a color scheme rather than trying to go back later and mod stuff to fit. Like with this graphics card, for example. Obviously the yellow doesn't really tie in with the red and black color scheme that I have going on elsewhere. So maybe one thing you could do here is actually just paint the fan shroud or cover it. At one point when I was running this as my main system, I did have Plasti Dip over this, which I'm terrible at painting, so I probably won't do that again, but maybe if you're a little bit more skilled at it than I am, that's something that you can do. And yeah, just having a well thought out color scheme. Also, one thing I will say is if you were buying red or green or blue, for example, you'll probably want to make sure it's gonna be the same shade. I see a lot of systems out there where the greens don't match or the reds or blues don't match. Even these two are kind of slightly varying, although it's not too easy to tell unless you stare at it. If you're unsure of that, I would recommend maybe for that specific color, maybe just going with something that's black or gray, something where you really can't notice too much if everything isn't exactly the same, rather than trying to match up your reds, your greens, your blues from different manufacturers. Sometimes that can be kind of tough. So yeah, really that's it. I mean, it's you've got your lighting, you've got your cable management, you've got cable extensions, and then you've got your overall color scheme, and that's really what's going to make the overall system look pretty good. Doesn't hurt to buy a good case either, which we can obviously improve on here, but it doesn't look too bad overall. So that's pretty much it, guys. That's what I'd recommend as far as improving the looks of your system. If you guys have any other suggestions, make sure you leave them down in the comments below. Like this video if you guys like this type of content, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. I'm out of here. See ya!